Good morning, amazing people. Welcome back to Building Your Health Esteem. I'm your host, Jerome Craig, and today's episode is titled Good Mornings. Stay tuned. Alright, so last episode I spoke about time and the illusion of time, right? Not knowing how long we have, distractions, not managing time well, and of course, my favorite word, creating a sense of urgency. So this is continuing along the theme of why people don't change. And I feel that the thing that has made the biggest difference in my life lately is creating good mornings. I know there's a lot of information about how successful people rise and they seize the day and they create the day and they visualize and they have these routines. And I've heard so much of that over the years. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You know, everyone's got their thing. Everyone's going to find their own path. But I just want to come back to the word, find your path. Why not make your path? And that's what it came down to for me, because last year it was abundantly clear that when kids were canceled from going to school, the kids were home all the time. And they continue to be. They still haven't gone back to in-person school and probably won't for the rest of the school year. Who knows? But I suddenly had no time alone. I needed more alone time. And so I invested in this pretty cool technology. You might have heard of a digital watch, right? So I got this Timex digital watch with a silent alarm. And the reason I got a silent alarm is because I wanted to wake up and be alone. I didn't want to wake up the house with my beep, 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 and I didn't want to set the alarm across the room or any of that kind of stuff. So I just put this watch on. I typically wake up fairly early by some people's standards. I was up by 6:15 without an alarm for years, but I knew I needed more time. So I slowly started to just dial that clock back 5 minutes at a time. If I was struggling to get up, I'd leave it there for a few until I got to about 5 a.m. And I just started getting up and doing things. And so it hasn't really been a struggle to become this 5 a.m. waker. Of course, this has shifted my to-bed time a lot earlier. But you know what? That's so much better as well, because I feel that sending the kids to bed early and trying to squeeze some time out of being either productive or spending time with my wife, it was never really quality time. We were always tired at the end of the day. And so getting up early has made a big difference in the way my day is laid out, because I'm actually making it. And it's become easy because I realized that initially my mind was like, I have to get up earlier. It was a have to. And then it became like, oh, I get to get up earlier. And now I absolutely want to get up earlier. It's been a total shift over time. And I feel like I have, probably 2 quiet hours in the morning. Not entirely alone. I've got a dog to take care of. I say hi to my wife when she gets up. But I get to work right away. And my work is basically creating a podcast. I've put out 6 episodes now in pretty quick succession. And I realize I have thousands of ideas. And so just writing them down, plotting them out, and starting to find my voice and stepping into what I want to be. And if you've listened to episode 1, you know that's about being inspirational. So if you're someone who struggles to get up every day, I invite you to just look at that and note that this is part of a rhythm in your life, a reality that you've created for yourself. And if you want more time, it's there for you to grab. And then another thought about snooze alarms. There's this comedian named Demetri Martin, and he has a little thing that he likes to say about snooze buttons. And he says, if you really think about it, hitting the snooze button in the morning doesn't even make sense. It's like saying, I hate getting up in the morning, so I do it over and over and over again. I did that a little bit back in the day when I didn't have a purpose and a reason for getting up. Like I felt like I was just going through the motions, like I mentioned last time in Why People Don't Change. We spoke about that urgency and that sense of needing to get something done with my life. And I feel like that can be a big part. So if I go to bed, And this happened to me last night. I was excited to get up and start recording. I had so many ideas in my head. And of course, some of those aren't there anymore because I didn't jot them down. I was trying to fall asleep. But I was so excited to get up this morning that by the time my alarm went off, I think I was already up. And I don't even know because it didn't really matter. My body was ready to go because my mind had prepped myself to be excited about today. There's a book out there called Miracle Morning, which honestly I've never read, but I've watched a couple of YouTubes. I've listened to some audio clips from this guy named Hal Elrod, and he has said something that I really like. He says, how you start your day sets the tone, the context, and the direction of how you're going to live that day. And I agree with that, and of course, how you live each and every day adds up to a life well lived. Hopefully, you can embrace this idea that you have time. We all have the same amount of time. You just have to create it and get it for yourselves. And instead of trying to find your way and find things, just make it. Start from the beginning. Really go back to your being and how you want to be in this world and ask your questions of why and how this is going to happen and just come up with a plan. Make it light, make it easy, don't overcomplicate things, don't think that you have to have everything figured out now because action creates clarity, and that is one of my favorite phrases that I've been contemplating lately. Just do it. Alright, so until next time, my friends, I'm wishing you health, happiness, and ease. Go seize the day. Thank you.